So in the previous module we talked about making choices. Why would we ever need to make choices? I mentioned the idea of a video game and how you could give the character or the user the ability to make multiple choices at any given time, whether it's jumping or shooting or running or whatever. And really, why do we add choice to our programs? Well, it's the same reason why we add variables, to add flexibility. It takes the idea of a static environment and makes it dynamic. So for example, going back to the old movie example, if you go see a movie 5 times or 20 times, it's the exact same thing every time. However, if you play a video game, it's different every time, maybe subtly, but it is different every single time you play. So that idea of interactivity is why we need this choice. Give the user options. Even if it's something simple like in Word, you have the choice to type in the screen, or you have the choice to save or open a file, and all these other different things. These are choices. So what we're going to do is figure out how we can make these choices, because the choices are really comparisons. Do you want to do this, or do you want to do that, or do you want to do that? So we're going to figure out how we can actually do this today. So in order to do this, we need to learn about something called comparison operators. Just another form of operator. We're up to quite a few already at this point, but we're going to do a few more. Comparison operators are giving us the ability to compare two values. So for example, you might say, your code might do something like this. If the user clicks jump, then jump. Or if they click shoot, then shoot. Right there we have two different comparisons. We're saying, based on the click, which button did they click? Did they click the jump button, or did they click the shoot button? Depending on those two choices, it's going to do one of two operations, either jump or shoot. So let's just clear that out a little bit. Back to the operators. Just to go through a few examples here. First operator we're going to talk about is this operator. It's a double equal sign. This means equal to. So for example, you might say, is 5 equal to 8? Well, is that a true or a false? In this case, it's a false. 5 definitely does not equal 8. The next operator is the greater than sign, which you've seen in math class, greater than. So you might see something like this. Is 3 greater than 1? Well, yes, it is. So that result is true. And then next piece we see less than. Is, let's say, 1 less than 0.5. Well, no, it's not. It's bigger than 0.5, so this is a false. And then we have a combination of the two. We have greater than or equal to. Notice the way I said that, greater than or equal to. So it acts like an or statement. That means at least one needs to be true. So we have greater than or equal. So we might see something like this. Is 3 greater than or equal to 3? Well, is it greater than? No. However, is it equal to? Yes, it is. So this whole result is true because it's an or statement. Notice the way that I wrote that. I wrote it specifically greater than or equal to, just the way we say it. It's not the other way around. You can't do equal greater than sign. It won't be valid. It's bad syntax. So you're going to get an error. So you got to make sure you do things in the right order. Same thing with less than or equal to. So let's do the exact same statement. 3 less than or equal to 3. Was 3 less than 3? No, it's not. However, it is equal to 3, so again, the whole result is true. And then the last operator, which you've already seen kind of in the previous module, is not equal to. So not equal to. So you might see something like this. Is name not equal to Steve? Now we don't know what the result of this because it depends on what the variable name is. If the variable name holds the value Steve, then that value is going to be true. The result is going to be true. If that name is anything other than Steve, then that result is going to be false. So we can see that not only are we comparing numbers, but we can also compare text as well. So those are the operators that we have to talk about. But how do we actually use this? What are we going to do with these effectively? Well, what we're doing is we create something called a test expression. Let's close that off. A test expression. Sometimes we just shorten that down to test. And what a test expression is the same thing as a regular expression. A regular expression is anything that results in a value. Well, a test expression is the exact same thing. It's anything that results in a value, but this case it must it must be a Boolean value. So a test expression is anything that results in a Boolean value. So it must be one of these type of operations. These are always going to result in a Boolean value. Is 5 equal to 8? It's a yes or no question that results in either true or false. So those are test expressions.